shooting down in the woods. He wouldn't leave it even if he could. 'Cause life is good, yeah!
Hickok45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the windy, wet hills of Middle Tennessee this weekend. Yes, we're suffering the remnants of the hurricane that hit the Gulf, and I shouldn't use the word suffering because we haven't suffered a lot other than the extreme rain, and we can handle that. If other folks can handle the direct impact of the hurricane, we can handle, I guess, the water and a little washout situation here and there. But here I am coming to you again through this little digital recorder, the radio show, as we call it. Irregular though it has become, still fun to do. And I think it's maybe a little more fun now that I just kind of do it when I really am in the mood. Not too hard. It wasn't hard to get in the mood every week. Yeah, I just had to kind of reserve the time, and maybe it was pressing, and I wasn't sure if I had anything to talk about anyway. So that always takes a little bit of the fun away from something, but it is neat to just plug it in and start yakking about firearms anytime, right? Just a little more enjoyable when no pressure. Gunner, would you please be quiet? Here, Gunner, as usual, Gunner and I are out here in the reloading room, and I have given him an old empty cartridge box to chew on, some plastic there, and he has to growl a little bit as he's chewing, but he's my buddy, so he's got to hang out with me. And anyway, we're going to talk with you about a few things here. Got a couple things on my list, and I'm not sure what all will be. Some recent videos, probably a gun of the day, action, a little bit about minor injury, speaking of Gunner, some things like that. Ginger, I don't know. We will probably, I will put together the usual little table of contents, and you can figure it out from there. How's that? Yeah, speaking of good old Gunner and Ginger, let me go ahead and first, I guess it's been a couple of weeks now. We did lose Ginger. Kind of sad, really sad, of course. Ginger was a good old dog. She was 8 years old, and she's no longer with us, just suffice it to say. Poor old puppy. She was a good dog, and even though she was aging rapidly, as did Bud. We lost Bud when he was 8, the bigger golden. You didn't really see a lot of him, I guess because we're not that far into the videos, when he passed away. But that was a great pair. We had both those guys, for 7-8 years together, and they were quite a pair. They were the best Goldens I've ever had, and I've had Goldens since 1975 continuously. And those two were the ultimate pair of golden retrievers. I mean to tell you, Bud was an unbelievable dog, crazy. And you've maybe seen the pictures. They'd get up and sit in the chairs on the deck and just of their own and everything. And but anyway, we lost the other partner of that duo a few weeks ago, so you won't be seeing Ginger in videos anymore. Good thing we had Gunner, and Gunner got to spend some time with her, of course, I guess about 2 months, really. So that was good. So we got to decide whether to get another one to be a companion for the goofy Gunner here, if they could stand him. And then speaking of goofy Gunner, he has the sharpest teeth I've ever seen for a puppy. And we've remarked about that, and actually it's a couple of cuts on my arm because I get to playing with him, and he'll actually cut you. He doesn't bite hard or anything, just chew and play and everything. But so I had to watch him. Well, I came out here Friday morning, Labor Day weekend, to the barn, and of course came out. He's all frisky, playing with him, roughing him around, and he's jumping around. He doesn't jump on you. We don't let dogs jump on us. But he's just jumping around and being frisky, and hooked his tooth on my thumb, that sharp tooth, and just ripped the side out of my thumb. Man, it was like I took my sharpest pocket knife and just raked it deep across my thumb. It hit the bone. It was just the knuckle along the side. So all the freak things, so I let it bleed and alcoholed it and wrapped it up and everything. I'm trying to keep it stiff. So anyway, if you see a big Band-Aid or bandage, looks like I got my thumb run over by a train or something. I overdo the bandage usually on things like this because I want it to heal quickly. It's such a nuisance to have something like that. So it's not that I'm that big a baby, but I run and get a Band-Aid. I'm like a little 5-year-old. Mommy, give me a Band-Aid. I really want to get it covered up. 2 things, so I can go ahead and do whatever I'm doing so it doesn't get worse or bother me or bleed on the guns or whatever I'm doing. And then also get it really patched up, taped and everything, whatever I need to do, so I don't aggravate it and it doesn't get worse and lag on for weeks or something, So that's why I'm big on getting these things sealed up and grabbing a Band-Aid and trying to take care of it as much as possible so it goes away. So I've got my thumb taped up, and so you may see that in a video or 2 here. Although we have 2 or 3 videos we'll be posting that or before that, but I just got a big Band-Aid or something I'll have on my thumb, trying to keep it straight because it's right up through the joint, of course, and get that healed up. My wife said I should have gotten stitches, but I don't know. We'll see. I got him glued back together. We'll get him okay. Anyway, it's not Gunner's fault really. I got to playing rough with him. We do have to watch him with those teeth. Of all things, get dog bit by a golden retriever. Actually, I wasn't dog bit. It was just horsing around stuff. But anyway, gotta love them. They're great dogs, and I'm just a dog lover, and put up with probably more than I should, the goofy things. Turning to a more serious topic, that is firearms. Thought I'd address something that came up this week. In fact, one evening I was going through mail and I started getting messages about from Phoenix, the Phoenix area, where they used one of my Glock videos. I don't know which one, but they used one of the videos showing me shooting a Glock on a local TV station, news station there, Channel 5, I guess, whatever that is in Phoenix. People have sent me the station and all that, but there's you may have seen it in the news. I've noticed it on the national news too. Trying to make a big deal out of I guess the Republican Party. It was a fundraiser, I think, for the Republican Party, I believe is what it was. At first I thought it was an NRA fundraiser or something, but I think it was a political party thing going on. And they were auctioning off some stuff, and they had a Glock they had left over from the year before. In other words, they were saying in the news. And so they put that on the auction again or something, and it was a Glock. They said a Glock 23. Looked like the picture they showed was a 30 or something. Of course, you wouldn't expect a media to get that right. And because of the shooting there that took place, with the congresswoman being shot and all that months back, then the media, of course, has to, and a lot of other people, I guess, too, have to draw a connection there, and I'm sure with political motivation, no doubt, that the fact that the guy was using a Glock handgun, and here they're selling or auctioning off a Glock handgun, wow, yeah, that is very insensitive. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, this it's so crazy. And of course, that's probably politically motivated as much as anything. Although there are people sitting in their living rooms that would see that and they would make that connection too, probably of any political party, more likely any particular touchy-feely political party, of course, seeing a Glock. And this reminds me of of that same issue that we all have to deal with. How firearms, legitimate use of firearms, sporting use of firearms is constantly connected to the evil use of firearms. And, how do you get around that? I mean, people just who don't really see firearms in any other way, to them it is just an evil tool, and then, matching up models like that makes a difference. What difference does it make if someone's using a shotgun or a 1911 or a revolver or a Glock or a SIG? You know, I guess if the political party had auctioned off a SIG, it wouldn't have been brought to the attention. I mean, really, probably would not have. I mean, it could have been a 90 round SIG, you know, but it wouldn't have caught anybody's attention. Oh, it was a Glock, same gun. Very insensitive, you know, auctioning off a gun like the one that was used. Could get in the wrong hands. Could happen again. I don't know what goes through people's mind. I get when you live your life based on emotion, who knows, you know, what goes through through your mind. I don't mean to make light of it. It was a tragic event, of course, it occurred. But the tragedy was the idiot that did it. You know, that had nothing to do with the tool as much as you know, deranged mind. So, you know, to link something like that to a firearm, a legitimate legal firearm, you know, it's crazy. And here I am using the term legal firearm. I still wonder, you know, where that comes from. Even illegal firearms, legal firearm. When you get right down to it, a firearm is not legal. It's not illegal. It's just a firearm, any more than it's evil or it's good. I mean, you're talking personification there. You know, for y'all that remember sitting back in English class, lit class, you're giving an inanimate object a human characteristic. You know, when you even calling it legal or illegal in a lot of ways, maybe not so much as calling it evil or good, but you know, guns just are guns. They're just like a hammer, and it's the person who's doing something illegal with it or legal. Just like with a car. My car, if I go out and speed every time I get in my car, is it a illegal car? You know, or if I go beat some people to death with a hammer, is that an illegal hammer? Yeah, I know we can pick that apart. It's not necessarily the best argument, but still, it's just weird. You know, how guns get connected like that. I was reminded, I had a comment on the watermelon, one of the big watermelon shoots. I guess it was the big one we did. Oh man, someone wrote, you might have seen it, wrote a paragraph, used every character allowed in a comment, I guess, about, I guess it was a comment. I don't think it was a private message. I think it was a comment, you know, about how insensitive it was to shoot up all those watermelons, you know, right after the Norway shooting. You know, what? you know, I mean, again, it's you know, it's living your life based on emotion. You know, legitimate people go about their business doing what they do, like you and me, who abide by the law. We don't care about hurting anybody. We don't want to hurt anybody. We just do our thing and try to be you know, constructive members of society, right? I would guarantee you, if you're listening to this, you're one of those people. And as are most people who watch the videos. You know, and so it just comes out of left field to me, you know, when someone equates or somehow connects what happened in Norway with me shooting up some watermelons on my farm. You know, like, okay, the same kind of stuff I've been doing all my life. And then on video, when I started doing YouTube videos, and I guess that makes me an evil person or insensitive. I should have been sitting in front of the TV watching, I guess, the news 24/7 and be in a depressed state, and maybe even want to sell all my guns. I don't know, you know. But you just got to do what you do, and then, you know, you can't live your life through emotion and worry about all that. It's just interesting to me. You know, I don't lie awake losing any sleep over any of that. I just go ahead and do what I do. One reason we do the videos, you know, again, as you know, we're trying to show what real people with firearms do. Although that wasn't what we started out doing. I mean, I guess it is. I don't know. It's just kind of a byproduct because we are just regular folks and we shoot a lot and always have, just like a lot of people I know. We just put it on video. And, you know, I don't know. It's just so funny that people want to make those connections. I guess if you don't really know much about firearms and your exposure to them is what you hear, see in the news. Think about it. Yeah, I guess we got to, let's empathize here for a moment. Let's all hold hands and empathize. Okay, think about that guy or gal sitting here I go again. It's going to be so stereotypical. I was going to say in a San Francisco apartment, but they could also be in a Nashville apartment. They could be in a Tennessee apartment out in the country even. They could be somewhere and watching TV. They don't know anybody who has guns. They're kind of afraid of firearms. But they have seen some stuff in the news about those evil Glocks and those high-capacity guns. And they certainly see every time someone commits a crime with one, because the media definitely reminds them that it was a high-capacity semi-automatic gun, a Glock. Whoa. So that's what they know, period. They don't even know anybody that has a firearm or ever even talks about firearms. They don't know where any shooting ranges are. For one thing, they're usually a hidden, right? So they don't even know about any of that. And so they're watching the TV and they see something, horrible crime committed with a gun, a Glock. And then they see in the news a few weeks later anything else about a Glock. Well, then that's very insensitive. It's like the people selling that Glock or auctioning that Glock, they have no other life and no other interest in firearms either. I don't know. I'm rambling. It's not funny. It's just sad, really, when you get right down to it, the connections that people make. And I don't know what the answer is. The answer is just do what we've been doing. Do what we do. Fight for freedom. Vote for freedom every chance you get. And then, just do the right thing. I wanted to make a comment about the legal carry videos. Those have been way better received than I expected. We knew there was an interest in that, and and again, because of my experience, I thought I should have addressed that at least and provide whatever information I can. So we'll continue with that. But regarding the Destiny video, as most of you probably can figure, when she was down this summer, and that's been, I don't know what the date was, over a month ago, when she and her father and sister were down this way, we just took advantage of that and video with her, had a little fun, and while she was here, knowing that we were going to be doing the concealed carry stuff, actually thinking it would be sooner than it was, we wanted to grab her on that, where Wisconsin, was in the process of getting all that approved, and she's from there, and they're going through that process now, thinking about what to do and the best methods, and and being female, we always get the female perspective from Destiny while she's here and what she knows about it and all that kind of thing. Kind of a why not. Lots of gals out there on YouTube that help out with that, and but Destiny was here, and that's on her mind, so we wanted to get her perspective while she was in town, and so it worked out pretty well. I experimented on that video, if you noticed, with approving comments. We've got too many videos to do that. If it ever gets so bad that I have to approve comments, I'd probably just have to cut off comments, I don't know, because I couldn't do that on many videos. But I was also having a little bit of an issue with a troll at that time, and I decided with some personal information, so I had already decided I was going to, the next video we put up or two, I was going to set it for having to approve comments, and with Destiny being female and everything, I thought, this would be a good one to do that on and try that out. I'd never done that before. And, it's just another thing to keep up with that I don't need for certain. But good thing I did, because there were quite a few inappropriate comments. I'm assuming, coming from a lot of the new viewers, new subscribers, probably younger subscribers, not to pick on you young folks, but I'm sure they're not all from young folks, but I don't know, just people not thinking, people who have not been around the channel much yet, and realize, give them the benefit of the doubt, realizing the kind of atmosphere that we try to maintain, try to keep it family friendly, and that's almost impossible on a public forum, but we come close, I think. At least we are able to do it in the videos. Can't allow comments and then still manage them 100% though. That's just undoable. So anyway, we did. I was disappointed at some of the comments. I had to delete or not approve probably 1 out of 5 comments, really. And just amazing. I'm sure there's none of you folks listening to this, but there are enough people. Obviously, when you talk about anybody on the planet that has an internet connection, can leave a comment anonymously. That I guess it almost speaks well still, but at any rate, it's a lot to keep up with. And I guess we just live in a more rude society now in a lot of ways. People are just used to posting and saying anything they want to, and a lot of people don't really have a lot of respect for much, period. They bop in on a video, see something, just say whatever, literally anything they want to, and go on, I guess. But generally the shooting community is a little more of a believe it or not, it's more civilized, isn't it? Like an armed society is a polite society. It really is in a lot of ways. But then again, you can't control who comes in, and so you get a lot of comments. But I was a little bit disappointed that the people who would actually watch that, that would have any interest at all in legal carry female perspective, you would leave a comment like that. So anyway. When you see a comment like that, though, if you check the channel, which I don't really have time to do very often at all, it's always, somebody. It speaks volumes, doesn't it? Have you ever done? I know you've done that before. When there's a comment that you look at, and you go, "What? Who would say that? Or why would they say that? Or who's this idiot? Or whatever." All is revealed generally, isn't it? When you click on their channel. Need I say more? It's never anybody, almost never anybody doing anything productive on their own channel. It just isn't. And then if you look at who they subscribe to, who subscribes to them, it becomes more and more obvious that they would leave a comment like that. It's still annoying, but it's just interesting. It doesn't take much digging, does it? Although sometimes there is nothing there, and then that kind of tells you something too. I think if you go to a channel and there's that's just been set up a month ago or recently, they have hardly no subscribers. They don't subscribe to anybody. There's very little information there. It's just probably one of their alternative channels that they use for that, for being anonymous and saying things, whatever, which could be who knows what. Maybe they're just sorry, envious, jealous, or something, or whatever it is, that they can't get something going, and so. But that too tells you something. It's almost never that you go to someone's channel and they've got, they're involved in putting up videos, and they've got 7 or 8 videos, and they've got a direction, and they tell you where they're from, and their interest, and it's a legitimate channel, and they've got stuff going on there, and it's almost never, is it? But anyway. That was an experiment with approving comments that I really can't do very often. So I couldn't have destiny on too many videos or any good-looking gals because I couldn't keep up with the comments. It'd just be an R-rated comment section for certain, or X-rated. So anyway, difficult proposition. And of course, you guys are helping me a lot. I get notifications from you all when there's something that I need to delete, and that helps out. And I notice often it's voted down, so it's not even showing, things like that. So that's good. Anyway, y'all can help me, I sure appreciate it. We're on the internet. They tell me that thing is worldwide, and that anybody with an internet connection can get on there. So I guess this is all evidence of that, isn't it? Hey, let's do a gun action. How's that? Of the show, of the week, of the day. Well, last week, some of you got that one. I think through my clues, came close, and those people who had seen some videos figured it out. Yes, it was the 1851 Navy Colt, or one of them. Sure was. And that's one reason I wasn't going to snap the hammer too much on it, against the nipples or anything. but it was 1851 Navy Colt, one of the actual Colt reproductions, third generation, yeah. And you will be seeing those at some point here. We get a really beautiful fall Saturday, Sunday. We'll just have to break some of those out and have a black powder day, right? So for this week, let's see what we have. Listen closely. Let's work it some more. Okay, there it is. A classic, is all I can say. I thought I'd talk about a recent video or some of the recent guns we've been playing with in videos. I tend to do that. I've been telling you I have a Mini 14, and I guess I go through this pretty much in the video. Have had the thing for a while, and oh my gosh, I've had it for 4 weeks, I guess, at least, maybe 5. And it's funny because I'll get a message, a private message, occasionally, about every gun on the planet, but the Mini 14 video messages have been coming for years, and so I was happy to be able to respond to some of those over the last few weeks. Hey, got one in house, man. Keep an eye on the videos, and kind of thing. So I guess they think I was just making it up, but we did the video yesterday with it. Finally, now I'm not sure what order. The order in which we're going to post these and the radio show and that kind of thing. But we have 4 or 5 videos here. But at any rate, you will be seeing, or you've already seen the Mini 14 video, the initial video. It was about to rain on us, and we had to do a little bit of a hurry up with it, but it worked out, I think, just fine. I mean, typical video like we do, where it's non-scripted and unedited generally, so it doesn't really matter. But we had fun with it. I think you'll like seeing it in action. But let me give you a little background. You loyal radio listeners deserve to know the story. And I don't want to trash anything here. Everything is good. But the thing came with a tactical stock, and I'd requested the gun, but it is a T&E gun, I was surprised when it came. It had a highly tactical stock on it, I'll just say, and didn't feel very comfortable with me at all. And I have some guns with all that stuff. I had one on the first AK I bought, the Wasser. I bought a stock for it, folding and collapsible and all that, and it actually felt pretty good on that gun. I like the outfit that I have on the Arsenal better now, but it's got a nice stock, it's long enough, and that's the main thing. But this Mini 14 5.56 223, it just felt awkward getting to the trigger. It really did. I mean, it just did, and everybody that picked it up thought it did. John agreed, and I asked Ruger to ask them if they could send me a standard stock, because I had picked them up in the shops. That I don't know who makes it. Well, it's Hogue or who it is, but it's just the polymer stock that comes on a lot of them now, standard stock. It just feels great to me, and that's what I wanted. And so it took a while to get that in, and then the heat shield wouldn't work, and had to get, because it was from the other stock, and so finally got that in. Anyway, we've kind of gone around with it for a few weeks here, and I've been anxious to do a video on the thing. And finally got to, and anxious to shoot it more, to where it would operate. But anyway, we just finally got all the parts on it, and shot it, and I enjoyed it. It's a pretty neat gun. As I say in the video, I just, for various reasons, have never had one. Have come really close at times, but just have not. And it is a handy little gun. As they call it, a ranch rifle. It's just a nifty little rifle to keep in the truck or pack around the farm or have with you, and whatever. It's not cheap. I think they used to be fair amount less than an AR when they first came out. I don't know. I'm not sure about the price differential there, but there's not a ton of difference there, really. But they're pretty cool. I think the fact they're based on, the Garand, the M14, and that bolt and all that, it just really takes you back, and it's like taking that M14 or M1A and just shrinking it down, to almost like an M1 carbine, So, and I've always liked that size of gun. That's why I've picked them up through the years, thinking many times, just in a gun shop or gun show, thinking, hey, these are pretty neat. I wouldn't mind having one of these. I think I'd maybe rather have it in a different caliber for something different. Which I still kind of think I'd like one in a 7.62 by 39 perhaps, but I know they had issues with that back in the day, and I understand they've improved that to some extent. The bore diameter was, what was it, larger? I think it was geared to fire the 308 bullets more so, and if you fired a lot of the Russian ammo, the surplus ammo, it was hard on the rifling. That was my understanding up until recently, and they've increased the bore size a little bit so that now you can fire the surplus ammo without damaging the rifling, if you shoot a lot of it. And that all might be a myth and stuff I dreamed, but I that's what I had heard from various sources or read somewhere. But then again, it's like the AR. I thought I wouldn't mind having an AR in that 7.62 by 39. I thought that'd be cool, but apparently the magazines are not that reliable. It's just a more difficult cartridge to build a magazine for. Unless it's the AK, of course, they got it right, but the Mini 14 and the AR, and maybe not so much. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot of reports one way or the other on the magazine reliability on the Mini 14. So if I end up with one, keeping one, I don't know. I'd probably rather have the 7.62 by 39, but I don't know, maybe the 223. This thing is really handy and fun to shoot. I'll say that for sure. But anyway, glad to have that gun in-house and firing and shooting. It's very reliable, and the knock on that gun is the accuracy issue that apparently has been improved quite a bit in recent years, and of course I don't notice any inaccuracy issues with it. It seems fine, but if you bench rest those things and you're measuring groups at 200 yards, 300 yards, you might see a difference between that and your AR. I don't know, but for what I do and the shooting I do, it's just a fun little gun. Really enjoying that thing. It occurs to me another way you loyal viewers and listeners could help me out is, as said before, with horrible comments or anything like that, maybe bring it to my attention. If they're just really, really, really bad, send me a message. But it's something that needs to be taken off, really needs to be taken off. But, also, as we get bigger and bigger, I'm getting more and more ads and spam, in mail and just everything like that. And, for a long time, I think I have it on my profile somewhere about how we're not really a venue for advertising. We want to keep it what it is. And, we get a lot of, obviously, if you see someone has almost 100,000 subscribers and the views, it's a place to advertise, right? Well, anything, some shooting gear or whatever, or somebody's channel, or just that, so you begin to see that. So I hope people don't think I'm rude. Any kind of advertising, hey, come see this or buy this, or that stuff gets, whether it's considered spam or not, it gets deleted. So help me with that, if you will, things like that. And then all the new people, that don't read the profile, I appreciate when you all chime in and say, hey, send him a message, he'll answer that. But, he tends not to answer questions like in comments or like on the profile, which I don't. I have to have a place where I can do that, and I can barely keep up with it as it is. As I've said before, when I get to as I'm going through a video or comments, and I will pop in a question or an answer to something, but it's just random, something I'll comment on. But that's not where I answer questions. Someone says, "Hey, Hickok, what's your favorite Glock?" or "What's this or that?" Particularly if it's something I've answered a million times, or it's in the FAQs. But you can help me any way you can help me with any of that. I appreciate it. If it's just pointing out to them how I operate, those who've been around a while, how I operate, and you can imagine how difficult it is to keep up with the amount of activity. So appreciate any way you can help me there. Really appreciate it. Well, better wrap up here, and appreciate you all listening and watching. We will continue doing videos. As you might know, John's got a busier schedule, and of course I do too right now. But we'll be posting something every week, and I'll be continuing as long as I can to keep up with the channel and communicating with you, everything I can do there. So y'all take care, and I hope you have a great week. You get a chance to shoot, shop around for some firearms, fondle some firearms, and hope you represent us shooters the best way you can, and whether it's online or offline. And appreciate your help, and y'all take care. You've been listening to the Hickok45 radio show. See you on the range.